The last 2 days have been kind of rough for Sam at his program. He goes to a program in Oceanside. They do various activities, go to the gym, and have time to do schoolwork and things like that. Anyway, he just wasn't participating. Like, they went to the gym, he didn't go. He didn't get on the shuttle with his friends, or even let his aide Brianna take him afterwards, which sometimes he does. And it's 2 days, and so we weren't sure what was going on. So we don't really have a way for him to be able to tell us what's going on. We can work really hard to try to decode his behavior. But one thing that we found is when he has his spelling sessions with Ashlyn, every once in a while we can ask her to do something besides just the session. And Paulette had texted Ashlyn earlier and said, hey, can you do a check-in? Right? And a check-in is just basically a time we just say, hey, what's going on? Anything going on at home? Anything you want to tell us? She told him that we were going to try to do a check-in later that session. And with about 20 minutes or so to go, she said, okay, let's do a check-in. And she typed on the keyboard check-in, and the words check-in are on the iPad. He kind of resisted doing it. And, and Ashlyn, she knows this kind of behavior, and she kept telling him, hey, I know that your body might fight you when you trying to really want to say something, especially when it's something might be emotional. And it took 10 minutes of him, pushing the keyboard away. He got loud and, said, hey, we've got a few minutes left. And he would say 0 minutes, really loud. He would tighten up his shoulders and clench his jaw, and wring his hands and yell. And she told him, hey, look, I don't want to put any pressure on you. You don't have to. If you don't want to say anything, I want you to just type move on. That's fine. And he would push the keyboard away and yell no and talk about something's going to happen some other day. And she just kept at it. She would say, hey, I know that your body will rebel. I know your body will do something different. So I'm not going to believe anything you're going to tell me with your mouth. You got to spell it. You got to spell that. Then I'll know it's purposeful. She went ahead and erased the words check-in and said, okay, well, I'll just read some more. And she picked up the paper to read the next few paragraphs for the spelling session they were working on. And he got really loud and grabbed the paper and pushed it away, and he grabbed the keyboard and he typed the word check-in, check-in, and I was sitting there like, okay, he wants to say something, even though he didn't want to say anything. And what he was saying and what he was doing with his body was the opposite of him acting like he actually had something that he wanted to say. So he got himself calm, a little bit more calm, and she held the keyboard out in front of him, and he, with his one finger, started typing. And I don't have the exact words, but he said something to the effect of, too many inconsistencies make my unruly body rigid. I think those are the words he used. Too many inconsistencies make my unruly body rigid. And he added something after that, which I'll tell you in a minute. But Brianna said, well, that makes sense and they have this agenda that they're supposed to follow each day. And she said, neither of the last 2 days did they follow the agenda, the way it was set up. So Sam is just letting us know that he can get his body to do things more when there is a certain level of consistency. When his brain is dealing with, there's an inconsistency here, his brain can, okay, I get it, it's an inconsistency. But because of that, the body doesn't move as well, as I suppose. But what he added at the very end, he put a period there, and we thought he was going to be done. And then he went back and erased the period, which he really shouldn't have. But here's what he typed. It took a little while to type this. Pills might help. Pills might help. What do I do with that? What pills is he talking about? We don't really have him on any. We know that a lot of people have been helped by various medications, but him telling us that's certainly a message, isn't it? We don't know what we're going to do with that, but we'll keep you posted, I guess.